Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X research and professional physicist. And today I'd like to bring to you another one of my articles. This one is entitled Planet X Debris Incoming, Sprites, and Earthquakes. Now, in Article 275 entitled Planet X Debris Field Impacting Earth, I wrote about the particle density spikes discovered by the Discoverer spacecraft, which seemed to indicate that clouds of debris were impacting and entering the atmosphere. This debris is created by the Planet X system stellar cores, which share their outer layers of material and have thus filled the inner solar system with debris. And you may look at Article 272 entitled Noctilucent Clouds and Planet X Debris in the Earth's Atmosphere for more details. This debris in the form of dust seems to have started entering the atmosphere in 1850, as this was when noctilucent clouds or luminescent clouds in the upper atmosphere were observed on Earth for the first time. These clouds form around stellar core dust because it is much lower in energy than Earth matter, and thus a gravitational and an associated electric potential is established. The electric potential causes ionization and light emission from the cloud, which forms around the dust. So in this image we can see a lot of these pieces of debris generated by the stellar cores. Stellar cores come in various sizes, but they will be spherical, whilst the pieces of the material which they shared and were once part of the outer layers of material are not spherical. They have irregular shapes. So these debris pieces do, however, attract material from the sun's corona and are therefore immersed in coronal plasma. As you can see, a lot of these seem to be, which then emits light. And you may look at Article 319 entitled Planet X, Planets, Moons, and Debris. Since this debris is surrounded in coronal plasma, when it impacts the Earth's magnetosphere, it will register as solar particles, but it will impact in much smaller amounts than normal solar wind, and thus create particle density spikes. And you can see some of these spikes in the data. This is the particle density data for the Discoverer, from the Discoverer spacecraft. And these are consistent with small clouds of debris moving past the spacecraft on their way to the Earth's atmosphere. This debris would then react with matter in the Earth's atmosphere, thus creating the luminescent clouds. And these two peaks that we see here were 4 days apart. Now, solar wind density increases will last longer than Planet X debris clouds coming in, and will thus look more like a step in density diagrams than a sharp spike. So this is a change in solar wind density. This is the type of thing we would expect, a step-like increase. Now, the ACE spacecraft seems to detect even more of these spikes coming in. As you can see from these diagrams, lots of spikes in the density. So particle density data, this is from the ACE spacecraft, indicating spikes in the density are likely to be associated with stellar core debris coming in. And this particular diagram is for between June 14th and June 16th. Now, the wind velocity simulation diagrams, which are based on a spacecraft data and are shown here below, indicate high-density particles impacting the magnetosphere. These diagrams, however, need to be used with caution, as the colors are assigned differently to each frame, depending on the maximum and minimum values detected. However, they do seem to show that just after 4 UTC, the Earth's magnetosphere was impacted by higher density solar wind, and this is for August 19th, 2018. So as you can see, it looks like this is high density plasma coming in. It's almost the same color as this on the magnetopause, this part that is usually where the highest density occurs. But you have to look at the maximum here. It's 1.31. That's the density maximum. So that would be the density maximum here would be 1.31. This one is close behind that. Now here it seems to have gone back to yellow, but if you look at the maximum here is 1.56, showing that the maximum at the magnetopause has increased. So of course the plasma that's coming in, even though it may be the same density as what we see here, would seem to be of not as red color. So this is how these diagrams work. So they're actually designed to show differences, not specific values in density. But then it went back to yellow. This went back down to 1.44. So it seems to be over by this time. The time here was, it was 4:41. So it started at 4:25 and it seemed to end at 4:41. So this is definitely just a spike in the particle density. So high particle impact in the Earth's magnetosphere between 4:25 and 4:41 UTC, and this indicates a density spike and is not consistent with either CME plasma or the arrival of faster solar wind, as these would last much longer. And you can see these density spikes in the diagrams. These are for most of the month of August, lots of density spikes, indicating that stellar core debris keeps coming in towards the Earth and thus entering the atmosphere. Most of the debris entering the Earth's atmosphere seems to be in the form of dust, but this is likely to keep on increasing. The dust absorbs energy from the Earth, which then causes the Earth to both expand and heat up. The heating up is because as more energy is absorbed, more energy flows into the energy vacuum created in the upper atmosphere. So more heat flows outwards from the core, which will also accelerate its energy generation by increasing the rate at which radioactive decay occurs. And you may look at article 240 entitled Planet X System Effect on Radioactive Decay for more details. In addition, ionization of the ionosphere will greatly increase, leading to various high energy effects such as high energy lightning, which then leads to what has been termed elves and sprites in the upper atmosphere. And you can see these are sprites. These were photographed by an observer on the ground. And sprites are high altitude and very high energy lightning in the upper atmosphere. These occur between the mesosphere and the ionosphere, and most likely are due to the entrance of Planet X debris entering the atmosphere. Normal lightning discharges usually involve a current of around 20 kiloamps, but the current involved in this high altitude lightning is around 10 times higher. So these high altitude events are much more energetic than what normally occurs in the lower atmosphere. These sprites are now often observed and photographed, but they were not observed in the Earth's atmosphere until 1920. And this is what elves look like. They look like this ring cloud. And these are also lightning effects. So these are all electrical effects due to the interaction between stellar core debris entering the atmosphere and Earth's atmosphere. These effects lead to heating of the Earth's upper atmosphere. The incidence of high-altitude lightning effects seems to have greatly increased, as these were not observed until 1920 and now are often observed and photographed by observers on the ground. This indicates that stellar core debris entering the atmosphere has greatly increased since 1920. The ionization effects created by the stellar core debris entering the atmosphere greatly heat the Earth's upper atmosphere, and at the same time more energy and therefore heat is also reaching the Earth's surface. mostly through the ocean crust because more heat is flowing outwards from the core. This means that the planet will keep on warming up, which will result in climate chaos, leading to severe weather and flooding. And you may look at Article 255 entitled Planet X and Worldwide Severe Thunderstorms and Flooding for more details. In addition, since increased ionization of the Earth's ionosphere leads to currents being induced inside the Earth, this increased ionization will lead to an increase in seismic or earthquake activity. The continuing expansion of the Earth will lead to increasing fissuring and volcanic activity. And you may look at Article 258 entitled Planet X and Increased Volcanic Activity for more details. Now, on August 19, 2018, there was an 8.2 magnitude earthquake in Fiji at the extreme depth of 558 kilometers. This indicates a shift inside the Earth, deep into the mantle. The region experienced at least 10 moderately strong earthquakes at similar depths in the next 48 hours. A shift inside the Earth this deep will most likely lead to other shifts elsewhere. And here we see two of the stellar cores that have been observed in the sun's corona. This dark one seems to indicate that this is a new arrival, and this one is covered in coronal plasma already, so it most likely has been at the sun much longer, so it's been in the solar system much longer. But this also indicates that these objects continue to arrive in the solar system. In the meantime, the number of stellar cores in the inner solar system and the debris they generate will most likely keep on increasing, so that the debris reaching Earth will keep on increasing. As time goes by, the larger pieces of debris will gain energy and start responding to gravitational fields and will then start coming into the atmosphere. There are signs that some of these pieces have started coming in, and you may look at Article 304 entitled Can Planet X Cause Asteroid Type Impacts? In conclusion, spikes in the particle density data from the Discoverer and a spacecraft indicate that Planet X debris clouds are continuously reaching Earth. This debris enters the atmosphere and gives rise to various effects, such as noctilucent clouds first observed in 1850, and extreme lightning events, such as Sprites and Albers in the upper atmosphere, which heats up the atmosphere and ionizes the ionosphere, which is then likely to lead to earthquake activity. In addition, the stellar core debris, because it is low in gravitational energy and therefore absorbs energy from the Earth, will result in the Earth continue to fissure and volcanic activity to also continuously increase. And these are the references. This is Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X physicist. Thank you for watching.